Hello. So I done a video on TikTok around the packet squirrel, and I showed off a reverse VPN thing that it can do. And I want to use the YouTube channel here to sort of explain in greater detail some of the things and how they work. So I'm going to do that. For anyone who doesn't know, a packet squirrel is this little device here. Hopefully you can see that okay. Little small device. And it's a networking man in the middle. So you plug it in between two computers, and it can do various attacks on that network. Whenever you get one, it comes preloaded with three different payloads, three different attacks it can do, and there's a physical switch on it to switch between them. There is the DNS spoofing, which is what I'm going to be showing you today. A packet capture, so basically it captures all of the network traffic that's going through it and dumps it into a USB file or a USB drive, and then you can take it with you. And the last one is a reverse VPN, which is what I showed in the TikTok video, and I'll do a longer explanation video here on YouTube on it as well, but if you want to check it out, all that's linked below. So what I'm going to show you is a DNS spoofing attack, and for anyone who doesn't know, DNS is basically domain name service or domain name system, depending who you talk to. And it's sort of the first thing that a computer does when it's trying to get out to somewhere that it doesn't know. Because whenever you try and go to a website, if you think of www.google.com, that's easy for us to read. We can remember that. It's easy for humans. Computers don't recognize that as a way of getting somewhere. They don't recognize names in that way. On the network, network devices, routers, all that good stuff use IP addresses to find things. And DNS is a way of mapping the name, so Google, to an IP address. And so whenever you go onto your computer and you type in google.com, your computer, if it doesn't already have it stored, it will send out a request and say, hey, I'm looking for Google, what IP address is that? And it sends out a DNS request, and then you get a response back saying that it's this IP address, and then that allows your computer to set up the packets that it's sending to the website with the correct IP addresses. With DNS spoofing, we intercept that request and we change the IP address. So instead of going to Google's website, we then go to our website instead, what us as the attacker has put in. So that's what I'm going to show you. So first thing we need to do is set up a website for the person to go to in the first place. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clone a website. This one here on the right, test ASP vulnweb. It's an intentionally vulnerable website. It's built to test a vulnerability scanner, and the reason I'm using this is because using a live website that's actually got people's data in it and stuff like that, that would be illegal. I don't have permission to do that, so I'm not going to, because it's illegal. So I'm going to use this. There are a load of websites like this that are intentionally vulnerable. If you do a quick Google, you'll find plenty of them that you can go on and practice web vulnerabilities and tinker about with them in a legal capacity. You can also host your own. There's an app called WebGoat, which is really good. Lets you run your own internal website, and you can break things on it. But I'm going to be using this one. In particular, I want to clone the login page. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a DNS spoofing that's going to take any request that's trying to go to testasp.vulnhub or vulnweb.com and redirect it to what looks like their login page. So no matter what they try and get to, it'll try and redirect them to that login page. And then we could capture credentials if we were malicious. So first thing I need to do is actually clone the website. So on the left here, you can see I've got a Linux machine. Now I'm doing this on Windows. Usually I would use Linux, but my Linux server, or my Linux computer that's running Powered OS, which has all of these lovely tools on it, is a potato and cannot stand up to recording, so I'm doing it on Windows. But the actual attacks and stuff like that are all done on Linux machines. So this is my cloud server. This IP address is not correct. So I am really lazy when it comes to editing. So and blurring out IP addresses and public ones and all that is a pain in the ass. So I've basically changed everything. So if you try and get to this, this in particular is an internal IP address, but if you're trying to get to any of the other IP ranges, they don't exist. Any public ones that you may see here, or they've been released. Whenever I finished recording this, I release any dynamic public IP addresses I have, so that then it's not me. Just in case anyone has the temptation to try and get onto any of these servers, they don't exist, and they'll be blown away once this is done. So this is my server. If I ls, you can see I've got OpenVPN install. This is for another recording that I'm doing, and then it might be a bit hard to read there in the blue, social engineering toolkit. That's the folder that you need to download social engineering toolkit. I already have it installed, so I just need to type in sudo se toolkit. Little error there about Metasploit, but that's fine. And you can see here we get some nice ASCII and then some commands. If you've ever used Metasploit, it's a very similar structure. So we want to do a social engineering attack. It's number 2, website attack vectors, and credential harvester, number 3. And then website cloner. Okay, now we need to put in the IP address of the server. So this one, the public IP address of this one. Again, this will be blown away. So whenever you're seeing this video, I will not be going to this IP address anymore. So please don't try and sniff it, because I don't know who'll have it. It won't be me. There's that. Now we need a URL to clone. So in that case, we're doing this one. So we're going to copy this here, that in. Okay, now we've got the website has been copied, and we can tell that if we go here, Sneaky server is just a DNS name I used to hide the actual public IP address of this server. And if I refresh that, you can see we've got a clone of that login page, but you can see we're still on my Sneaky server. So if I do username 1, password 1 in there, and log in, you can see here we have possible username found, possible password found, and it's found username 1, password 1. Cool. So we have a website to direct people to. Now we need to direct them to it. And to do that, we're going to now SSH onto the packet squirrel. And whenever you log on, or whenever you connect it, it will get an IP address. It's 172.16.32.1. You can log on to it. And again, some nice ASCII. And if we ls in this, and this is basically just a lightweight Linux machine, but we can cd into payloads. And we've got 3 folders, switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, each corresponding to the switch on the packet squirrel itself. The DNS spoofing I know is under switch 2. And you see here we've got the payload.sh, so that's the actual program that runs to actually do the attack. You can also do it in Python. I can't remember what else. It accepts a whole load of languages. But the file that we care about here is that spoof host. So if I nano spoof host, you can see here we've got it set up, or I've got it set up and all. We've got the address, / the domain that you want to attack. So in this case, remember I said we want to do anything going to that domain, not just the login file. We just want, if you're trying to get to vulnweb.com, you get sent to our site. So we've got that in there, vulnweb.com / and then the IP address. So this is the IP address of our attack server that has the fake website running on it. That's where we want it to go. So that's fine. Now what we do is we power off the packet squirrel and change the switch to switch 2, which is the attack switch. Okay, so now the packet squirrel is booted up and it's in line with the network. So now if I try and get to this domain here, what should happen is I then get redirected, instead of to the vulnhub website, the actual one, I'll get redirected to our other one that's running on Sneaky server. So if I hit refresh, boom. Now you can see the domain still looks right, because as far as the website's concerned, that is where it's went. But as we see, we've been redirected to a user login page, and we can see down here that we are in fact connecting. So if I now try username 2 and password 2 and log in, you can see we've got username 2 and password 2 captured on the left hand side. And the vulnhub test page cannot be found. This broke, because what happens whenever you click the login button, it actually tries to redirect you back to the actual page, the actual real web page. But because our server, our Sneaky server, doesn't have that login page, it doesn't know where to send it to. Now, what we could have done is cloned the entire website and spun it up that way, and then in which case the redirect would have worked absolutely fine. And we would have redirected to the login page. Now it would have kept spinning because it didn't have any credentials, but we could have done it that way as well. So that's it, short and sweet of how a DNS spoofing attack works, and a bit of social engineering there as well. I'm going to be doing another video on the reverse VPN that I showed on TikTok. If you prefer the short form, like quick fire videos, check out the TikTok as well. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you later on.